Hello, and welcome to Something to Offer. I'm Dontoya Thomason. And before I tell y'all who my guest is today, let me just tell you that I want to say thank y'all for tuning into this podcast. This is my 10th and final episode of this season. And what started off as just like a trial, I don't know if just my mom will be listening, turned into a great sort of communal conversation. Lots of people enjoying the podcast, lots of people messaging me privately and expounding on what it benefited them. And that was the whole goal of Something to Offer, that I would let you in my life and some of the people that I know, their lives, and that they could offer you something in a candid way that was relatable, that was helpful, and that you could relate to and understand. And that's exactly what happened. And I really appreciate people tuning in, because there's a lot of stuff on the internet. There's 1,000 kajillion billion podcasts and YouTube videos, and there's so much out there literally to offer. So the fact that you would take time to listen or to watch this really means everything. So I really appreciate it, and I just want to say thank y'all. My guest today is a special guest, Lecrae Moore. And again, y'all know I don't do bios, even though he has a long one. But he is a friend of mine, and he recently did an album and a book and a documentary around the idea of restoration. Now, it's been out for a minute, and I know people are like, restoration, we already heard about that. Let's go to Church Close 4. But it's such a profound idea that I wanted him to come on and talk about in depth some of the things that, he talked about in the book and the themes of the album, but in a more candid way, because I've heard lots of Lecrae interviews and he does a good job of being candid, but I just sometimes want to ask more questions that I know that you might want to hear. And so we dive in pretty deep off the bat, I think, with some of his abuse, some of the father issues. We talk about Church Close 4. We talk about a lot of stuff. But I invited him on here, again, not because he has a bio, but because he's just a regular, cool dude who's candid and honest about his life. And so I wanted to share that with you because, again, he's another person in my life that has something to offer. So I hope that y'all enjoy this. I hope that you get something from it, that just because someone's successful by American standards doesn't mean they don't struggle. And sometimes that compounds the struggle. And so I just wanted him to talk about, in a very human way, what it means to come out on the other side. What do you do after the restoration? After the album's not being listened to as much, after the hoopla is down? How do you keep living when you have wives and kids and husbands and lives? How do you keep going? And so that's what we talk about. And I hope it'll be beneficial as always. And I hope you enjoy it. So let's check it out. Ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
I do this all the time.
I know you do. Actually, okay. Welcome to Something to Offer.
Okay.
And I'm actually nervous to interview you.
Oh my gosh.
Because you do this all the time.
Oh my gosh. It's just like, just think of this like the dinner with the couples dinner we all had.
But I feel like I don't ever ask you the things like from your book, from your album.
Okay.
We just be talking about wild stuff.
We had a deep conversation.
We did.
At the table.
We did.
I argued with all of y'all.
That's true. Don't bring that up. Okay. All right. But okay. So what I feel like when people make an album or they put out a book, people just want to move on. Like you spend all this time on the book, on the album, on the documentary, and we're like, where's Church Close 4?
That's true.
So I don't want to do that. Isn't that true?
That's true.
It takes a long time to do all this stuff.
I kind of do that too, so I understand.
Yeah, you got a little bit of that.
I do
no
that.
shade about ADD, but you have a little bit of that.
Oh, I have that.
You have a little bit of the move on. But I want to linger because I felt like restoration was really important.
Okay.
So I don't want to talk about the music. I don't want to talk about the reason why I was nervous is because you get asked the same questions over and over again.
Okay.
True or false?
I do.
Okay. So I'm gonna do my best.
Listen. I thought that's what this was gonna be, so it's fine.
I mean, it might be. So that's the only reason why I'm nervous. Okay, but I want to talk about. So you got the book out, but I went back and listened to it because you and I have.
Which is crazy that you did that.
I did because it meant something to me. I listened to it the first time, and I had some things hit me. Like when you were talking about all the trauma that happened in your childhood, I thought, man, I don't think I lingered long enough.
And that stuff. Oh, your childhood.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you said you had a line. You said, it affected me longer than it bothered me. I thought that was a cold line. You forgot you said that?
No, I feel, and hearing you say that, I'm like, yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel that still.
So even as I was listening to it, I was like, that is so true. Just because I thought it didn't bother me doesn't mean it doesn't have lifelong implications.
Right.
So everything that's happened to you leading up to this point is because it did affect you.
Right.
Whether or not you want to acknowledge it.
Right.
So I wanted to linger on that. I
That's
wanted
good.
to hear more about that. I need to hear how you're not upset with your abuser, as you said in the book.
Oh, man.
Okay, let's just start there. I just want to start there.
That's so. Which abuser is the question?
Oh, okay.
So, well, okay. The sexual abuse.
Yeah,
so we
that
diving
one.
off the deep end.
Sorry.
Just,
We'll go back and make
yeah,
it nice, but start here. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
The sexual abuse.
Yeah.
I think that culturally, it was so normative, and it was so like,
Okay.
you know what I mean? Like the way I was raised, you know, I was just raised that guys' rite of passage is getting with women.
Right.
And so in a way I felt like, oh, well, I got a notch on y'all because I was 6 the first time
Dang.
I, you know, had an encounter with a woman
Right.
sexually, a grown woman
Right.
at that. You
Wow.
know what I mean? So I don't think I ever felt like something was wrong with it until I was an adult and had to like think about it.
But when you were 6, you didn't think this is weird?
I didn't know what to make of it.
Okay.
It was like, what is, mind you, I'd never been exposed to these body parts.
Right.
I didn't have an anatomy class. I hadn't had to talk. I
Right.
didn't know what women had and guys. I'm clueless. Like
Right.
now, having kids, I get it. Like they don't know.
Right.
So being exposed, I was like, what is this? You know what I mean? I could be really tacky right now, but I'm not. But
Yeah. That's all right.
But there was like my brain was thinking like smells and just, I'm like, what is
Wow.
this? You know what I
That is
mean?
awful to me.
So that's what I didn't know what to make of it all.
Right.
So I was more intrigued. I didn't feel like I was violated. I felt
Okay.
more like, what's happening right now? And it's somebody I trusted. So it wasn't like, you know, it wasn't this like thing like, come here.
Right.
Don't you tell anybody about this. It
Yeah.
was just like, come in here, and things happened. And then I was like, that was really interesting. And it just made me curious.
But did you know not to tell anybody? You didn't tell anybody, did you?
No, I told my mom.
Oh, you told her right away.
I told my mom, but I think, you know, I'm 6. So
Oh, God.
I what I'm telling her is almost like unthinkable, unfathomable,
Okay.
right? And then at the time, you know, my abuser was able to spin it to where it looked like I was stupid. Like I was like, what is he? I had the boy doing blah, blah,
Oh,
blah.
wow.
And it's like, you know what I mean? So it wasn't, so I remember it not being thought of like a big thing.
Right.
Plus I just went on about my day. It was
Right.
like, you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. It's whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean? So.
Okay, so fast forward to, you know, you having a breakdown or you realize that this has implications.
Right.
Who are you mad at? Are you mad at your abuser, yourself, your mother? Who are you mad at?
That's a good question. I think it didn't affect me until I had a 6-year-old. Right. So it was then that what had happened was this particular person, I mean, this is, oh my gosh, like 30 odd some years later, gets arrested for child pornography.
Okay. Now, I heard in the book you said they went to jail. I never wanted to ask you. I'm like, why did they go to jail?
Right.
Okay.
And so when that takes place, you know, I'm confronted as to whether or not I want to be involved in testifying and all this types of stuff. And I was
Okay.
like, I haven't even thought about this stuff. So now I had to think about it. And then I'm thinking about my own kid. And I was like, son of a mother. And I was like, what a violation. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, you don't realize a world's been opened up to you that shouldn't have been because you're just living in it.
Right.
You know?
Okay, so if somebody has been abused like that and something happens like this child pornography thing,
Yeah.
would you tell somebody to like testify or do or go to that end? Because it almost feels like you just kind of, man, I'm not affected, so I got to move on from this. Or did you know?
Yeah, there's no rule, there's no manual for this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no like book for how to navigate this. And, you know, we're talking about somebody who it's complicated because on one hand, I forgive this person. I
Right.
mean,
What does that mean?
Okay, so I won't say I forgive this person in terms of like I've processed it and I forgive you.
Right.
It was more like I hadn't even thought about it. I hadn't thought about anything like that. It was awkward. I never really talked to this person like that.
Right.
But it's a family member,
Yeah.
right? So there's intricacies and I'm connected to people they're connected to. And so it's like there's some parts of the family who are like, man, we don't want to see this person go down. And there's other parts of the family who's like, dang, man. So it was a web of me being like, I don't even know how to deal with all this. Right. You know what I mean?
So what'd you do?
I felt like, this is me personally, I felt like I'm 30 years removed from what happened.
Right.
I don't know what's going on in this person's life. I haven't kept up with them. I could speak to something that happened a long time ago, but I don't know if that plays into what's currently going down. You know what I mean? Yes, I was a child. I was molested, but I don't know how. I don't know. And then to be honest with you, I'm gonna be 100% honest. Like, man, I ain't never even said this before.
Okay.
But to be 100% honest with you, I just felt I knew I would be fine personally.
Yeah.
I was confident with the information given to me that this person was going to go to prison.
Okay.
Me coming forward was not going to hinder that process, but I felt like me coming forward would drive a wedge with some family.
Got it.
You know what I mean? So
I completely understand why you would do that.
Yep.
But that's just another picture to me of victimizing the victim.
You're right.
You know what I mean? It's
You're
just
right.
like, but I can understand why you do
it wasn't even like, oh, I feel bad for this person. It was more like, dang, this is me being honest about what happened, but I hadn't thought about this in 30 years.
Right.
And now there's people in the family who are like, they haven't said like, don't you do this, but I'm just like, man, I don't even want to deal with that.
Right.
I don't even know what that looks like. So
right. I appreciate you sharing that. I actually personally know people that watch this podcast that have been molested. I'm thinking of actual names, not saying them, but I'm like, that's helpful for people to hear. Like, you can walk through this in different ways.
Yes.
You can testify. You can go, hey, I know they're going to get what's coming to them.
Yes.
But I can't be.
Now, if I felt at all like me not saying anything would have allowed those kids that were being taken advantage of to not receive justice, I would have definitely, absolutely,
okay, absolutely,
without a doubt,
that's
without a shadow of a doubt.
Okay, I'm gonna move from that because I didn't mean to take you that deep.
We went there. I was like, all right, man, welcome to the podcast. All right, we're gonna dive in the pool, deep
I didn't
in
mean
the pool.
to do that. My strongest thing though was because you talk a lot in the book about how you got time off, right, to kind of go through your mental journey.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of poor people.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That don't get the time off. So I kind of like just wanted to hear from you. That's why I don't want to move past the restoration. What does restoration look like? It looks like so many things. And I feel like your book touched on a ton of things. You talked about your dad in the book. Yeah. And hearing what happened to you, that's why I thought about what happened, the abuse. You talked about how you wanted your dad to rescue you.
Yep.
I relate to that so much. Now, not that, well, okay, don't let me minimize it because I know my family's watching. But, I mean, there were like...
See, you know what I was feeling. You know now, you know what I was feeling.
Right, I would not have been in court. You know what I'm saying? I already know I wouldn't have been in court. But, you know, there was traumatic things that happened in our life. But at the same time, I just thought if he would come and pick me up, all this stuff would calm down. And you said that in the book.
Yep.
Okay, so, but then you met him.
Yes. I was like, this nigga is not coming to save me.
the first time and the second time you had to thought of it, right?
Yeah. Well,
so give me that.
Well, okay. So
I'm listening.
You talking about like seeing him for the first time as an adult?
Yeah, I mean, you even said in the book you saw him as a kid and he like took you shopping?
Yeah, took me shopping.
And
which kind of made me feel like,
yes, he does rescue.
Yes, you're a rescuer. You're coming, but it didn't stay.
Right.
You know, it was like swooped me up, took me on a date, shopping, come meet my family that you never met before, and then gone in the wind.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess the question, because I know a lot of people like this. What happens when you find out that the superhero cape is just a costume? Like, is having a bad father better than having no father.
Oh my gosh, this is a counseling session. I need to pay for this. What is happening right now?
These things. It's called something to offer.
Gosh.
So I'm like, I know people that can't afford counseling, so I want to hear from you because you got the money. You already paid for it.
You're right. Okay, so first of all, when you're broke and you can't afford to take that time off, you go to mental hospitals or you're homeless because you can't focus anymore. Right. So I really empathize with people I saw on the street, and like when I was really acutely mentally ill, I really resonated with people because I was like, oh, this man is trapped in his brain.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like, and he can't function like a normal human being. He can't afford counseling, therapy, all these particular things. And so I really resonated when I saw people in that condition. I think that I had to realize I was a classic stuffer, right? A classic stuff my pain and turmoil down deep inside and power my way through it. You know what I mean? Is that and so you would have never been able to tell me that I needed to deal with that stuff. I was the quintessential I mean, if you need to go therapy, but that ain't for me.
Right.
You know, that's who I was.
But why is that? Just black, or what is that?
I mean, partially it's, I think within black culture, you're trained to weather trauma.
That is so true.
You know what I mean? It's like, you just better deal. I saw so much stuff.
It's okay. Say whatever you want to say. And don't get distracted. This is a regular, real life podcast.
Yeah.
I need my friends to stop texting me, but it's okay. They're not going to. Just keep going.
I went through so much real stuff as a kid that it's like, yo, you just move. Like, there was no explanation. So my mom gets in a fight. She takes a fire log, throws it through the window, and there's no explanation the next day. It's not like, all right, so let me explain to you what happened.
Okay, I won't do this. I'm like, so she just
I saw crazy stuff all the time.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm like, she got in a fight one time and drove a car through a garage, you know, and it's not like.
And she's changed. We love her.
My mom she was a gangster. It is what it is. I saw so much stuff. I said, uncles come in the house stabbed up. It's like,
dang,
that happened,
right?
And it's not like a counseling session, right. So it's like, yo, you just power through this.
Trauma is normative.
Yeah.
I was talking to a friend the other day, and I would say something, she would gasp. Then she would say something, I would gasp. And I'm like, is this just normal for people? Is this normal for black people? Yeah,
I think it is normal for marginalized people, specific. I mean, you know, we're in America, black people, Hispanic people, minorities tend to be the more marginalized people.
Yeah.
And so it's like, get in how you fit in out here, you know, figure it out. I mean, you're free now. You're not a slave no more. Figure it out.
Right.
So I think you grow up seeing so much of that. And my family was real aspirational. So they're smart people. They were trying to do better. They, you know, we would always be if we're in the hood, we're the hood family that's not hood in the hood.
Okay, so you're trying to be fancy in the hood.
Yeah, you feel me? It's like we're aspirational.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Man's going to college.
Man.
Juju's in the military
that's
now.
That's only in the hood is somebody named Man.
So that's what, but I'm just saying it's kind of like you look around you and you're like, well, I didn't get my teeth knocked out with the water hose, so I'm good.
It's like jumping over like just a broom. Like the bar is so low.
The bar is so low.
Yeah.
So growing up and not having dad there and thinking he's gonna rescue me and he doesn't rescue me, it's like, well, stuff it.
Yeah.
I don't know what those emotions are because I don't have time to think about them, and I didn't even know I had these emotions. Mm-hmm. It wasn't until therapy that I'm like, right. You know. So.
Right. Well, okay. So I still know tons of people that only live in chaos from day to day. How do you, without money, because some people say, man, I want to get help. I know I need to get help.
Right.
I mean, are there any like little steps?
Yeah.
Tell me.
Of course. Well, I think we live in the information age, that's so you can get online. If I found tons of great stuff online. Mm-hmm. Like I wanted to do what was called cognitive behavioral therapy.
Oh man, you deep.
And I was like, I want to do this, but
how did you know about that though?
Because I was doing a lot of research and Googling stuff, and Dr. Google's sometimes not your friend because you be misdiagnosing yourself and thinking
I have died 7 times.
You see what I'm saying? It's like, oh man, I know I have that disease.
Yes,
That's definitely I'm dying tomorrow.
Right.
But in doing that, I think I learned about different things. And this was in my acceptance phase, because you go through the acceptance phase is like, all right, this is what it is. You know, it's after grief. You know, it's like, okay, acceptance.
Right.
And in acceptance phase, I could learn, like, all right, what's going on with me? And then I learned, like, all right, this is what I'm dealing with. I need to do some therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy. I got online and was on YouTube and just going through the process there.
So you're like, if you want help, it's out there.
It's out there. There's communities on social media you can be a part of. Like, there's so many people you can connect with. You know, it's just it's a process. But then also, here's the other thing. Therapy, you can get therapy for pennies on a dollar if you really need it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so I was, you know, initially dealing with the therapist who got me, you know, it was my entry point for therapy, and it was somebody that was like, you know, I don't know, back of a magazine type of, you know, newspaper ad type of person, and it was cheap. It was like, what do you have? You got Medicaid, Medicare?
And I think therapy's in right now for Black people.
Yes.
Slowly it's starting. I've seen people on Instagram promoting like Black therapists online, cheap, free.
Yep.
So I hear you saying, and I agree, that if you want help,
it's there.
Yeah. Or if you have a son or daughter that needs help, you could get them help.
Yes.
For a cheap.
Before I went to therapy, I read a lot of books. Yeah. And that was the biggest thing.
That's you. You're smart. You're like, you're nerdy. And
I'm not. I am not. Listen, my friends are nerdy. I am not.
Okay. But you like science. I mean, I feel like you like things that, like, you say things I'm like, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't read that.
Maybe. When you're in trouble, I put it like this: I'm resourceful. When I'm going through hell, I know how to research and find something to help me.
Okay.
But,
I got you.
I don't do it for fun.
So back to your dad. You meet your dad.
Yeah.
And I still want you to answer the question: is it better to have an incapable father or no father? Because you met him.
No father.
Oof.
No dad. And let me tell you why.
Please.
I don't even want to throw my dad on a bus like this, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't really know his whole journey, his whole story. I don't know what he went through and experienced. But my brother lived with him for part of his childhood. Mm-hmm. And my brother tells me stories that are just painful. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I'm just like, oh God, I'm glad you
avoided that.
Exactly. I would rather him not have been in my life.
Okay, but you saying something strong, because like there's people out there wishing like they built up a story in their head.
Listen, you're probably better off if that man is not responsible enough to come be in your life. You're probably better off just being 100.
My husband told me that you said that, and that really, I had to sit with that. My father right now is really trying to be in my life, and he's doing a great job in the ways that he knows how.
Sure.
But you're saying if you are not mature enough in a season, and your father seemed to be on the same road, or not the same road, but he was.
What?
I mean, he seemed to be in like a similar state as he always been by the time you met him, and on the documentary that I saw.
Saying like
I'm not trying to say he's like just as he was.
No, I mean, I think he's descended, you know what I mean, over the years, but he's very intelligent, so I think he can justify some of his descent and say like, I just want to be free.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
I know, I watched that documentary, and I'm not gonna lie, that was not, you were so kind, and so was your sister. I feel like you're like a pastor. You were like trying, and I was like, this to me is not going good. But you had a lot of grace. Do y'all still keep up in that way, or?
I think my dad has some mental hurdles that makes it difficult to have consistent cognitive conversation. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
basically what I'm saying is sometimes it's like you're not really talking to a person who's all the way there sometimes. Yeah. So, you know, that makes it difficult. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I went back and watched that documentary, and you talked about your wife's father, who was like a father figure to you. My husband talks about how he's prayed for a father figure and then missed that God had put father figures all around him. What would you speak to that of people that are trying to make their dad be the dad?
I mean, like, make somebody be what they don't have?
Yeah.
So I'm traumatized. I don't know how to respond to older men because I've never had any healthy older men encounters.
Yeah.
So I just have never, like the one older man, not the one. In most of my circumstances, older men, I have not known how do we do this dance? Mm-hmm. And so I give my all, just like trying to play catch up. Like, let me get the dad I never had type of thing. And I go all in and end up getting hurt. You know what I mean? So I think I've been real cautious to embrace somebody that tightly. Yeah. But what I would say is that, man, if you can manage your expectations, because I think I just do that in general. I think that dad void made me look for connection with a woman in a way that was unhealthy. You know what I mean? Like
be my all.
Be my all, because I don't have another place to be all of me, because I gotta be guarded and shielded, because I'm gonna be hurt out here. So be that for me, and I think, manage your expectations and realize this is a human that's gonna fail you. That can't be your all in all. That can't be this ideal picture of what a dad's supposed to be. So, be that.
What I heard Adam saying and what I kind of see from y'all's lives is, if somebody pours a little something into you, like, see that as God trying to father you in pockets.
Right.
But
That's
you
good.
Can't make up for what you didn't get from like 0 to 40.
Right.
Yeah.
Can't.
Yeah.
And I don't know who's 40, because it's not me. I'm joking.
I'm just like, in general, if you were 40.
Right.
But
that's cool.
Do you ever stop needing a father, I guess is the question.
Well, I thought yes. I thought that. I was like, I'm grown, man. I'm a grown man. I don't need no daddy no more. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But then I realized it's only been like within the last year or so where I've really connected with a mentor of mine. And I realized that there's things that I can't see in front of me, specifically as it pertains to like raising children. Yeah. And it's like, oh shoot, this whole teenager thing is different. So is there anybody out here? And then that's when I start realizing, like, I still need a dad. Right. You know what I mean? Or a coach. I think I don't need what a dad is for in most people's minds is the cop, right? It's like the don't do this, do this. Right. But then it goes from cop to counselor. And I think that's the stage I'm kind of in now with my oldest. It's like I'm more of a counselor. Like, I'm trying to let you be independent, make your own decisions, but I want to counsel you through this. But then when you're an adult, it's like you need a consultant. Yeah. Right? So I need the consultant. Right. Like, yo, what do I do here? And that's more what I'm realizing I need.
And it's just the consultant's going to have to be the person that didn't play the cop and teach you the elemental things.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
And that's okay.
That's fine.
That's fine.
Just still get them. Okay. Get that person. Yes.
All right. Let's switch gears a little bit. I didn't take you to counseling. Sorry. This was depressing. I didn't mean to do that. Okay. I'm gonna try to move on, because that was a little bit depressing. However, one more depressing thing.
All right. Let's go.
By the time this comes out, there may be another crazy story.
Oh Lord Jesus.
I'm not gonna.
I hope not.
No, I know. I actually shouldn't say that. But there's been a lot of like same old, but with new souls. Like more killings, more like police brutality.
Yep.
And I've been seeing. This has more to do with your status. I've been seeing people put out messages, and I'm growing weary of Black people having to articulate for the oppressor you know, why this is wrong.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I saw you do that this week, but you have a spotlight on you where people expect you to say something. Like, how have you been handling this? And you know.
It's so funny. I had the same exact thought.
Really?
I had the same exact thought, and I was like, yo, y'all stop explaining why this is wrong.
Okay.
And today I put up a video just like encouraging people, like, love somebody well, because people are struggling. Like, if you are okay, not, you know, if you're better than someone else, like, walk with them, love them through the trauma or that they may be currently experiencing. But stop. Like, it's a waste of energy.
Right.
You're just frustrating yourself trying to explain to people who are hell bent on misunderstanding you in the first place.
Right.
Go help somebody who really needs it. So that's where I'm at. I'm just like, man, who's out here struggling? Let me come serve y'all.
When did you get off that, though? Because I feel like we was all on that for a long time.
Yeah. But, well, when you realize you're talking to a brick wall.
Right.
You know, when you realize, like...
When you realize people voting for Trump to be president.
Yeah,
and
it's like, I gave them a what for? And they're like, anybody trying to hear nothing you gotta say. Anybody, what are you talking about?
So you're off that.
I'm off that. I don't care. I don't care about helping people understand what is clear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I will present to you the books if you want to read them. Right. You know what I mean? But you have the same access to the library, the internet that I have.
Google is strong.
You feel me?
It's really strong.
I mean, I'm more worried about serving the communities that are affected by this. You know what I mean? So it's like what you're doing right now. It's like, let's serve the people who are struggling instead of like wasting all this energy fighting again. Like, you don't see, and this is the other thing, like, when you're speaking to marginalized or disenfranchised communities, you're not defending their dignity. Okay. Right? You're telling, you're giving dignity, not defending it in front of other people all the time. Like, TD Jakes isn't arguing with people online about why black people matter. Right. He's trying to speak to black people.
That's true.
Help
He's
them.
Exactly.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like,
that's exactly right.
So he's not thinking about all that. He's like, man,
switch your motivation.
Yeah.
I mean, and you talk about, you clearly see, I just don't know what to do with you sometimes. Like, I feel like, I mean, in a way, like, I think you're trying your best. I feel like you're authentic. But when you have a level of celebrity, I feel like it almost takes away the ability to be authentic.
Oh, yeah.
But I saw you be authentic. You saw the repercussions. But where are you from that? I feel like people still expect you to teach and preach.
For sure.
So how do you handle that?
Yeah. I'm just the pandemic helped a lot.
Yeah.
Because the pandemic is like, shut down, be home, be present.
Yeah.
And just process life outside of the spotlight, you know? Yeah. So I think that was very healthy for me. My rhythm is different. Yeah. Like, I have a consistent rhythm with my friends, and it's not like, hey, y'all, I'm at this event, I'm performing, can y'all come through? And it's just the gym,
right?
The, you know, dinner or whatever, you know, just regular rhythms. So I'm forgetting that I have that amplified voice sometimes. That's, you know, I forget. And I'm okay with that. Like, I'm not trying to, I just, you know, I've got to live my life at the end of the day.
Do you think you'll ever go, or are you afraid that post-pandemic, I don't really know what that even looks like. We're all pretending here. But would you be concerned about going back to that hardcore tour life, like, is that a concern? How has pandemic been good for you?
Yeah, it's a concern.
With your kids, your wife.
Yeah, it's a concern. I mean, I'm in such a good rhythm that I don't want to mess it up. But I'm also like, here's the other thing. I haven't performed for financial stability. Yeah. And I've been fine. So it's taught me I don't have to go out here
and that hard.
You know what I mean? It's I can decide what I want to do and what I don't want to do at this point in time. So that, you know, and, you know, at this point in time, it's like, I mean, not that I would have to do that, but I could. I'm like, I go work at Home Depot. You know, it's like that. You know what I mean? I'm just saying.
Would you, Lecrae?
I'm not saying
you would if you had to.
Yeah,
you
that's
are,
just where I'm at.
yes,
It's like, yeah, it's me. What's up, bro? The nails are on aisle 7. You know what I'm saying?
But I got you.
It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, me. It's like you got to do what you got to do.
That's true. I do believe you would work hard to take care of your family. However, so. This is nice of you to be able to say, because some people can't say this. Without touring, you have been able to survive well.
Yeah.
And has it made you rethink what that might look like come 2022?
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna still do music, but I'm gonna do it how I want to do it.
Okay.
You know, not how you must do it in order to survive. Well, you know, if you don't take this one, then this, and then you got this. You got to think about this, and this bill has to be paid. Now it's because I want to do that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's amazing that gave you that freedom.
I mean, I'm a 3 on the Enneagram. You know, we want to achieve.
Yeah.
So.
And you found other ways to do that. Stop front. I think I saw you on Facebook.
You're right.
Deals, and you doing big things.
I mean, you're right.
Yeah.
But I mean, the thing about it is that I don't have to perform in order for that
things
kind of stability to happen.
Use another part of yourself.
Yeah,
to get that.
absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
So you even said, again, going back to your book, that like initially rap gave you an identity from the time you were little to now. So as somebody who may be inching towards an alleged retirement, you keep pretending like you got like one more album or something. I feel like I heard that before, but. How do you gain a new identity when you've done something for so long?
You got to hold things loosely. Mm-hmm. I hate seeing athletes like, oh, you know, I was the man.
Right.
I ain't seen nobody do it.
You gonna put that speech up? You're not gonna do a speech like that?
I can't.
Yeah.
Like that like, who am I outside of playing this sport type of mentality? And I think I already went through my who am I outside of this music, and I had a Nebuchadnezzar moment, you know, if you know your Bible out
yes,
there.
Okay.
But Nebuchadnezzar, it's like, no, he just got put on his face, and I think that's what happened to me in the midst of all the grandiose stuff. Yeah. It was like, bow, hit a wall, and you know, it was like, I'm not built for this. I'm just not built for this life. This is not what I was created for. And so I have to turn the volume down and simplify my life. Yeah. Cause I'm Whitney Houston. I'm Bobby Brown. I'm the person who's gonna, if I'm living at that level, that loud, I'm going to ruin myself. I'm absolutely.
But you know that about yourself.
Yes, I do.
Okay. So if you're somebody that says that, you know that about yourself. You've said, I'm not saying this, but you said you've had mental, like, you know, struggles. You struggle with anxiety. Is that fair? I struggle with anxiety, but it looks different. Right. So help me understand how social media and what you do for a living, how that doesn't compound that at all times.
It does. I mean, it does. But some of it is I don't pay attention. I say what I want to say, and then I put the phone away.
Okay,
you know
you're better at that because you weren't good at that always.
I wasn't. But I know it's not going to help me at all. You know, it's like, it takes a while for you to realize this is not helping me. Yeah. You know what I mean? So you it's like when you change your diet up or something, it's like, wait, something is not. Yeah. Let me stop this to see if I don't know about the gluten-free stuff that people do, but apparently when you stop eating the gluten, it's something, and that's what I felt like happened to me. It was like, yo, let me leave this alone. Right. And I'm better for it.
So you don't read comments?
I may look at, I'll put it to like this. If I know that I have said something that is going to garner negative commentary, I'm not looking at it. Okay. I said what I said.
You said what you said. I like that. I appreciate that. Yes. That's what I want to see. Yes. But I see you sometimes, you want to address, you still have a level of celebrity so that it makes a fan feel good that you would answer a comment or two. So you still have to.
Yeah. I will go through and, like, if I catch you, I'll just, say something to you or whatnot. But I'm not spending my every waking moment like I was before. Like, oh yeah, that's what you think? Well, first of all,
It's hard.
I am him, QRXT. You don't know me. You don't know my mama.
Right.
And it's a waste of my life.
It's bringing you down for no reason.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have an identity outside of rap. Pandemic has helped with that. The crash, the Nebuchadnezzar moment has helped you with that.
Yes, Lord.
And Church Clothes 4. I do want to talk about that.
Okay.
Because let me tell you, let me be a fan for a minute, Lecrae.
Oh, wow.
When Church Clothes 1 came out,
I
can remember where I was when I heard Church Clothes.
Wow.
Like, I can remember where I was when I heard, like, an Usher song, maybe a Beyonce, maybe a Prince. I can remember where I was, John Legend, Ordinary People.
Okay.
I remember I was laying in bed. Adam brought me the phone, was like, you got it. Lecrae is different. And I was like, now I am the true Lecrae fan.
Shout out to Adam for inspiring me to do that song in the first place.
I did not know that.
Yeah, he did. He inspired me to do a lot of songs. Dirty Water.
I remember Dirty Water, but Church Clothes 1 I did not know.
Church Clothes, because he was like, bro, you just gotta do it, bro. You just gotta be, you know what I mean? Like,
that's how he sounds.
Yeah. Sacred, secular, man, just be you, man. I was like, all right, I'm gonna do
that
it.
That mug was cold. So, you know,
it was a moment.
Church Clothes, the whole thing is fire. Yeah. I actually think all the church clothes are fire in their own regard. So no pressure, but whenever a church clothes about to come out, do you feel that pressure?
The funny thing about it is that Church Clothes always feels like a pickup game to me. Okay. So the album feels like a championship title.
Okay.
Or put it to you like this: you're live performing at the Grammys.
Okay.
And Church Clothes feels like karaoke. So it's fun.
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean? It's oh, this is a pickup game. Let's go out here and have some fun.
Right.
And I think what ends up happening is you don't feel as much pressure, so you're more creative. Okay. You're more vocal. It's like, I don't.
How far are you into it?
30%, 35%.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you've been working on it for a lot.
I have, but I never want to feel like so let's put it like this. When I have 30 songs done, then I'm 100%.
Okay.
So I'm at like 12 songs.
God, that's the whole.
So that's why I say I feel like I'm at 30%. I need 15, 16 more songs to feel like
Do you have enough people in the room to tell you like if a song's not really like church clothes worthy or hard enough?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Especially in this season of life, it's like everyone feels like they can be my. Sometimes I'm like I might be a little too casual with you people around here. Like,
you need some nicer friends.
Everyone speaks into stuff like, man, that ain't it, bro. Word. Okay. All right.
Okay. So I mean, I don't have like this podcast isn't like millions of people, so you can drop a little bit of secrets. Is this gonna be like what's the feel? Is it because I'm like because I love Let the Trap Say Amen. I didn't get enough.
Oh yeah. So I feel like Let the Trap Say Amen was an experiment into me trying to be do more of myself with no pressure.
Right.
But working with one producer, you don't necessarily you're kind of in one lane.
Yeah.
So I think this is a little bit of, to me, this feels like if Let the Trap Say Amen and Church Clothes 1 had a baby.
Okay.
Where it's that freedom to be all of me. You know, but then also there's like, it's broader than just one sound.
And you rap hard on Church Clothes, like Lyrical Miracle. Like you become like
it's
propaganda. You rap really hard on it.
It's not, if you don't like rap music, then it's not really for you. If you came for the John Legend feature, then you need the album.
Because I ain't gonna get too honest, but I love the John Legend song, but sometimes like you have certain like lanes where I'm like I the Lecrae that I believe in real life is like if DJ Quick met Jesus. And I feel like sometimes I want you to be more.
Dude, that was profound. I take that as a strong compliment, actually.
I mean, that's how I see you.
Wow,
so,
I'll take that.
Good. That's how I want to hear you sometimes.
Yeah, that's where I'm coming.
But it feels like every now and then you got to have like the pretty moment. I get it.
Yeah.
I understand it. Yeah. Business, I get it.
You know, DJ Quick had to do the Tony. I said it was a jam, actually, so that doesn't
now
count.
You're getting past my memory is bad, but you're going to see it.
Let's get down. I can't.
Yeah, that's all right. You tell me later.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm really excited about Church Clothes. I don't want to hold you too long. I felt like I asked you, like, I'm feeling guilty that I took you down this spiral.
It was great. You didn't. I'm used to it. I'm used to it. That was good. I'm on the other end. I think really what restoration looks like is like healthy rhythms.
Okay.
And I think that's really what it is. It's like people are surviving and not thriving, and you don't thrive because you don't have a healthy rhythm. You're not looking forward to something because you're scrambling all the time in the midst of everything. Yeah. So you don't have enough time to reflect on what you enjoyed about yesterday, and you don't have time to be excited about what's coming tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that's where I finally am.
Yeah.
I mean, I still probably, Lord willing, have a lot of life to live. So I hope I can keep this going. But
I feel like you're so much clearer after, this is terrible to say, hopefully you hear my heart. After your Nebuchadnezzar moment, I feel like you're clearer now, and you feel more like Lecrae, the man himself, who also does music, as opposed to like the celebrity who has other thoughts. And so I guess, you know what I mean? Like I see that about you, and I wonder, I love that about you. So how can you convince, because let me get it straight. Restoration happens, but you're still married. You still got kids. A pandemic, like life still comes at you. I'm married, and like me and Adam can be cool, and then 30 seconds later we can be into it. Life just happens. So I'm like, how do you kind of keep that mindset of like, I am restored, I'm healed, not everything's a big deal? And how can you talk yourself and us into being ourselves, like that's better than being a version of ourselves?
Yeah.
Because I like you.
The authentic.
The authentic you.
I think that's what it comes down to, is that you have to know what a healthy version of you looks like, so that you can, that's the bar is different now. So it's like, this is not a healthy version of me. I know what healthy me looks like, and healthy me is not scrambling for a pic to post on IG because I haven't posted in 2 days. Like, oh man, I gotta post something because who am I if I don't?
Right.
Healthy me is in the moment, enjoying the moments I'm having with my family or with my friends, and it's not like an opportunity to advance some aspect of who I am. So I think when what it looks like for anybody out there is knowing what a healthy version of yourself is, and then that being the benchmark and what you're always fighting to aim for.
Right.
Now my wife and I have been through hell. So because we had 2 years of disaster, I think that the silly stuff it pales in comparison.
Yeah.
When you've weathered crazy storms, then why do you keep using my stuff is not
right.
It's like
I'll stop.
Yeah, it's not fine. A big deal. We're moving on. So that's what it's looking like.
Well, thank you, Lecrae. I appreciate you coming on. You're more than just your music. You're a solid dude. You're a good father.
I am DJ Quick.
who met Jesus.
Who met the Lord.
Yes.
You feel me?
So I need a song. So
it's on.
That's how I see you.
It's on.
And I love it. So, all right. I hope y'all got something out of this. This is my final show of the season.
Dang.
I'm taking a break. So you were a big help. So I appreciate you coming and helping me out.
Absolutely.
Thank
Glad
y'all.
to be here.
See you next season.